Welcome back to the channel. This is Football Temple brought to you by Azar Studios. In what is a terrible, sad day for football fans across the world. It's sad that in the early hours of today, the football world woke up to the death of Liverpool and Portugal star Diogo Jota. The 28-year-old died alongside his brother in a car crash this weeks after the Premier League champion, now ex-Premier League champion, got married. Guys, Uncanny Sam and the Bishop joined me on set in what is not the best news for football, and of course, not the best news for Liverpool and the Portuguese national team. This was a player that just a few weeks ago celebrated winning the Premier League title, and of course went on to also celebrate winning the Nations League with the Seleção, the Portuguese national team. It is sad, guys, but it is life.
Yeah, it is.
Things like this must surely happen. And Diogo Jota, one of the brightest players, one of the best for Liverpool, and he gave his all up until his death. Was a fantastic player on and off the field of play. I don't think we ever had of scandals about a player that was a core professional on the field of play. But it's hard to now be able to now talk about him in past tense.
Yeah. You see, it just reminds us that there are things bigger than football, things bigger than sports, we talk about how awesome he was, but his family be talking about how an amazing man, amazing dad, a wonderful husband, depending on how many days it was, and an amazing father as well, because his wife was already giving birth to kids for him before they got married. So it's really sad. I think this just brings us to the fact that after that things bigger than football. I remember when something like this, it was a cardiac arrest in the stadium where the game had to be paused for him to be treated. Because come on, you have to have life to play sports, And this reminds us of everything is just vanity. It's just about the impact you make. Now Jacob remembered about the impact he made in the life of his family, what he made in the life of football. And like you said, a perfect gentleman, a perfect professional. And you can't talk about, a professional who is scandal-free than a man like Diogo Jota. He was not the first player in starting lineup, but anytime he's being called upon, whether it was Jurgen Klopp, whether it was Ancelotti, he was an absolute professional. He brought in, he played with his heart on his sleeve, always wanted to make an impact on the pitch. And I think he should be an icon and somebody, a role model to every young player who wants to become, great stars in the future.
Uncanny Sam joined Liverpool from Wolverhampton Wanderers.
That's where mine went to.
At some point was in Atletico Madrid. He's one player that you will not say is up there at the highest level, but Jota was consistent when you call him up to deliver for you, and it was that for Liverpool. In fact, it was one of the early influx of Portuguese players to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and I'm lost for words, honestly.
Life is so funny. We've been doing this for like a couple of years right now, and we've never started it on this sad note. And I mean, this is about the first time that we are talking about an active athlete who suddenly isn't longer alive. You guys have said it all. Reality check. This is life. There are bigger things than football. At the end of the day, the impact you make, and good, bad, ugly, is gone. Never again will we see him playing this game again. Yeah. And the funniest thing, life goes on. In a couple of months, in a couple of years, once in a while, people will remember that there was a Diogo Jota. Yeah. And like you said, he wasn't that guy that's up there, but he was one guy that you always want to have in your team. And maybe for guys like Nonso, he was a thorn on the flesh of Arsenal. Yeah. And one thing that he loves doing is scoring Arsenal.
From the bench and
either he starts or he comes from the bench.
Yeah.
He's one guy that once if he's playing, be rest assured that Arsenal will concede because he's on the field of play.
He doesn't even care whether it's 3-0 or 4-0. He wants to just cause you to lick your wounds.
And it has happened. Wow. It happens. I mean, come on, nobody's going to live this life alive.
Yeah. I think I love that. Yeah, nobody's going to live this life alive.
There are days of reality checks. There are days, like I said, all this while I've actually been having this program here, it has never been like this. We've never had it on this sober mood that, come on, waking up to the demise of a co-professional, like you guys put it, a co-professional, like you said, and who was mindful of what he does. He's a professional. He knows his job is to play football, and he plays it to the best of his ability. And he's one guy that you never caught him grumbling or doing something that you never liked.
Whether you drop him on the bench.
I would want to say all those things. The truth is this: reality is here. He's gone, and come on, life move on.
Well, he's gone, and he's gone. Lived between 1996 up until his death in July of 2025. Started his career, of course, in his native hometown of Paços de Ferreira in Portugal, and then moved to Atletico Madrid, where he then had a couple of loan spells with FC Porto and Wolverhampton Wanderers before, of course, he was sold for 44 million, pounds in the year 2020, bought by Jurgen Klopp to Liverpool, and then up until his demise, just recently won the Premier League title, the 20th for Liverpool, equaling the record for the most domestic title in English football history. Diogo Jota will be remembered, and of course, on behalf of Football Temple and everybody here in the studio and those behind the camera, we do hope that his family find a space in their heart and sober to bear this huge loss that has just hit the family of Jota. He died alongside his brother, who is also a footballer, though not popular like Diogo Jota, but it's sad. It's a reality check, like Onkani Sam put it in the right word. Nobody will leave this world alive. And it's now the question, what do you now give to the sport? Or what do you give to the community close by to you? That when you go, what exactly will you be remembered for? With the gentle soul of Diogo Jota, rest in peace. Amen. Guys, let's come back and talk the Club World Cup. The show must go on.
Absolutely.
That's
another big rule.
That's
again.
another big rule in life.
Yeah.
Life must go on.
Yeah.
And when you celebrate life, you should also remember that one day, of course, we don't pray it's now, like they always say of course, called Georgino, meaning that let days be far away from each other.
Yeah.
Someday, somehow, some days, somebody will also sit down and say, I used to watch that guy. Great guy. But of course, we don't hope that it comes anytime soon. Nobody wants to go. Everybody wants to live and enjoy the life.
We want to fulfill our potential.
We want to live to fulfill our potential. But guys, the FIFA Club World Cup gets to its quarterfinal stage. Unfortunately, some guys have gone, but not going the path of Diogo Jota, but they've gone. The likes of Manchester City. Onkani Sam's Manchester City.
Fine. But thankfully, you're calling them Onkani because you know my stance. You know
Manchester City are out of the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yes.
They were beaten by some players who play football and go close to the Kaaba. Hilal of Saudi Arabia.
I thought the league was not good enough.
Coached by a manager that was beaten
in the final,
bashed, brutally beaten in the final of the Champions League by Luis Enrique in the person of Simeone Inzaghi. But it is
that name is going to be a heavyweight name in football.
Definitely.
Yes.
But it is the Saudi Arabian side with arguably one of the best performances. The last time I saw a performance like this from a goalkeeper,
Mbono
has to be the United States goalkeeper at the World Cup against Belgium, Tim Howard. That was when I saw 22 saves from Tim Howard in that World Cup match.
Yes.
But Yasin Bonu
made 11.
Produced 11 great, not
just a save,
11 great saves to ensure
part of his work.
the quarterfinal.
Part of his work. Part of his work, of course. Part of his work. So he wasn't doing anybody a favor. He did himself a favor. Does it very well. And now we're back to what I used to tell you guys. I said, look, there's something wrong with Manchester City. It's only we can never see the Manchester City that we've seen for the past 4 or 5 years again. I said it even at the beginning. As a matter of fact, even in our last show.
Yeah,
when you guys were saying, I said, no, come on, this team is not good enough. And they can never be good enough again because there are because of priority. Let me put it that way, because of priority. One of the days where the gulf between Manchester City and other team will be so wide. It's no longer wide.
It's liberality now getting into football.
It has gotten into football first now. We saw it from last season.
That's our language now.
It has gotten into football. I was never shocked. I was never surprised. And I expected it from extent if you even ask me, because I've seen these guys played over and over and over. I know the problem is not the issue of this. It's not the issue of somebody's missing, somebody's not this. No, it's the issue of the team is not good enough. It's the issue of Pep is a bit tapped out, and it's equally the issue of the goal that has been closed up in football.
Very closed up,
because these guys you're talking about, whether they played close to Kaaba, whether they played football close to wherever it is, these same guys have stopped Ronaldo from winning.
The Saudi Arabian League.
This same guy has practically everybody. Like you just call right now. Yes, Mbunu came from Sevilla.
You have
Koulibaly from Chelsea. The Malcolm, the guy that's qualified. Malcolm, the guy that scored the final goal, came from Europe to
Jack Cancelo from
You
Manchester
understand?
City.
Manchester City.
You are playing in Bayern. I
Yes.
think. At Barcelona at some point.
not
you
a
know?
bad team at all. The question is this the new reality for Man City? Yes, it is. Man City is going to struggle. Man City can never be that dominant this force again. And did Man City sign below average player or average player? Yes, I agree completely.
Checky,
Checky looks a bit.
Checky is
Checky
good.
has proved his
I think the assist
Looks
of the
better.
volley was
It looks better.
amazing.
Looks
You know,
better.
he even silenced
Funny enough,
Pep
and
Guardiola, who said he was not the one
He
who
came
signed
quite
him,
cheap.
yeah.
He was far cheaper
Yeah,
than
far
Reinders. You
cheaper,
understand?
yes.
We said it here. We say a team that finished 10th can never have a player that deserves such amount of money or
Yeah.
deserve this thing. Now, Pep reality check. You know, people are actually associating with a lot of things. Nobody's associating it with the injury with Rodri again. People are saying
No, Rodri is back.
People are saying life off the pitch is
Anyway,
what's affecting
he's
him.
now
People are talking
injured.
about his marriage. Maybe the crash in his marriage has actually messed with him mentally. He does no longer get things right. But come on, the reality is this: the golf has been
closed
bridged
up.
up.
Yeah.
There is no, good number of players from Arsenal and Chelsea can walk into this team.
Yeah.
Gone are the days you can hardly have players
If
from
Chelsea
this team
only
that
walk
walk
into
into
the
this
team,
team.
yes.
But that's the reality right now. And who is out there that you're going to buy that is above practically everybody? Few of
Nobody.
them out there.
Nobody.
Except you're going to put players from Arsenal.
Yes.
You put players from Chelsea, put players from Liverpool. You understand? That's where you go. And that's when you now create that golf again. But that golf is gone and gone for good forever and ever. It means we're going to enjoy football. It means privacy is here to stay. It means the pendulum can swing either way.
I think it tells the true story. You know, in accountants, let me now a bit of accountancy. They'll tell you after it tells a true and fair view
Yeah.
of what
True and fair
Man
financial.
City is.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think the mental block, but the picture we have in the City, we saw of 2-3 years ago, it's not going to happen again. Like I said the last season,
That
it's not
dominance
gonna-
is gone.
It's gone, man. It's gone, and it will take an absolute miracle
I think
to get them
Miracle
get to
of
that.
epic proportion.
Let me just add to what you're saying, right?
Yeah, okay.
I think we need to accept the fact that nothing lasts forever.
Nothing.
No glory lasts forever. I
No,
think that's the reality
with Man
right
City,
now.
they try. They think they don't know. There's in economics. Come forgive me. Let's go to school. There's what we call diminishing returns. You get to a certain level in life, and then not because you're not doing anything bad. It's just that you have to crash. It has
Go
to
to
get
the peak,
worse to
you
get
come
back
down,
up again.
go up again, yeah.
Exactly, and that's what happened to Man City. They are trying to paper the cracks by getting good players again, but come on,
It's not working.
see,
Because even the players at the club
now let me
are
explain. Let
struggling.
me explain to you. The players who were rookies and kids 4-5 years ago in Arsenal are now grown and matured and getting
Yeah.
better. Same with Chelsea. Same with Liverpool.
Same with Man City.
Same with Manchester City as well. So the golf is, like you said, it's thrown out of the gutters. I think it will take something. And Guardiola again, to be sincere, like he said he's almost tapped out. Please crash that. Guardiola is tapped out. I was watching him against Hilal. You barely see Guardiola have a go at the referee. He was after 90 minutes. But he practically held the referee. He was almost having a fisticuff with the referee after the game. The guy, and that's why I love the club. He said he was looking at his body. He said, "Can I take it 1 more year?" He said, "No.
I
My body
don't
needs,
mind.
I need to rest."
You take some rest.
Sometimes the best
That
managers,
psychological effect.
some
it
managers
gives
know
get
when
to
to
you.
get out.
I think that contract renewal was never
Never
necessary.
needed.
was
He
never
didn't need
necessary.
to.
Was
He
never
didn't need
necessary.
to.
I think Pep was
Leave
trying
on
to prove to himself
Guys,
what he needed not to prove to himself.
Who is he proving for? Guardiola is an absolute goddess. Okay, okay. I'm trying not to make him sound like a lady, but you know where I'm coming from. He's when it comes to football, he's in football and coaching. He's in the highest.
He's
echelon.
personified as far as coaching is concerned.
He's
He's a
an
standard.
epitome. He's a standard.
He's a standard.
He's a role model. He's the it factor. So he has something to prove. He would have left when the ovation was loudest. Forget
Sign that
about Man
contract.
City. Let them even fall down. You make his leave more exciting. You got another left and they fell. It makes it more exciting.
That
But
they're
he was
struggling.
trying to play superhero.
Because the reason why we
He
still
was
praise Sir
playing
Alex
Superman.
Ferguson till
Yes.
now is because Manchester United
And
have
dwindling.
not been able
But
to pick pace up.
again, you can't bring him into the same fold with Alex Ferguson.
No, you can't do
or
that,
this-
you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not even there's going to be an Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the luckiest person in football is Arsene Wenger, if you ask me. After
Yes.
leaving coaching, his impact in football is even
Tomorrow.
louder than
Yeah,
it
because
used to be.
because
So
while on
now,
football, his impact was beyond just the game.
Yeah.
He brought in
behind-
science in football.
a lot
he
of
brought in
things,
dieting
a lot
in
of
football.
things.
And beyond
He brought
football
in-
too.
He brought in some a
Beyond
lot of
coach-
things.
Beyond coaching.
Beyond coaching too,
He's
he's still
bringing-
bigger than what
Right,
he
still
is. So
working.
now here is it, right. In all these things, there was this year I listened to a documentary where after a particular season, about 700 players lost their job and standard of living changed completely.
Yeah, because-
now it could be, bro, beyond this thing, what else happened? Okay, he might end up in a meetable club, which he's used to success.
Some people still say, there was a school of thought that said if Wenger didn't bring dieting or something to football, Rooney wouldn't have been a successful footballer. Because when he stopped playing and he became so big, and because we now realized it was football that kept Rooney in shape.
Yeah. So that's what by the way. So I'm talking about Pep right
Pep
now. Maybe
Guardiola.
I think
Pep, come on, man.
I
Come on,
think
man.
I think the last contract, the last extension
Was
was
not needed.
unnecessary.
Was not needed.
But I think he did it probably in fear of so many things. Like Adebayo once said, he said, look, you're just gonna play football probably 40. Beyond 40, you have almost 50 years to
Yes.
live. What are you gonna be doing?
In the
So
next-
probably has not gotten his life sorted out off the pitch. You understand?
With the issue
Yeah.
around his marriage.
Forget about marriage and everything because
I think he put that together.
I mean the marriage thing happened after he extended his contract.
Yes.
So it's not because of these things. I just feel like you rightly mentioned, you get to a point in life where you just feel like, you know what, I'm done.
I don't try. I don't do this thing now. Make I
It's just like on this. There are days I feel like, no, I'm not supposed to be here.
Yes.
Because even if I'm here on the day I feel I'm not supposed to be here, I will not give my best.
150%.
I'll struggle to put my thought process together.
Absolutely.
Right?
You ask them, can you go again?
So I'll ask you understand. So
And that's
how
why
it
you
is
see some
in every
players carrying
sphere
of
life.
30. Don't blame them. They've asked their body, can I go again?
Okay.
One
I
more
mean,
season.
I just saw
two
this
more
guy
seasons.
yesterday
No.
saying he has retired. The Chelsea guy that never got there. One
Charlie
Musonda.
Musonda.
You
Yes.
understand?
28.
He said
28.
he said his body never
Ah,
carries him.
no, injury, one wound down. Everything no they work. The guy say make
Yeah,
I
you
can-
going too far. Mason, they would have became a coach at the 10th of 24.
Well, leaving Pep Guardiola aside, and let's now go to the 8 teams who are serious with their life. Palmeiras from Brazil, Chelsea from England, Paris Saint-Germain from France,
yeah.
Bayern Munich, I beg your pardon, from Germany,
Yeah.
Fluminense
From Brazil.
from Brazil,
Yeah.
Al Hilal from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Put that word, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Of course, Real Madrid from Spain,
yeah.
and Borussia Dortmund from,
Germany.
of course, Germany. 2 German teams, 2 Brazilian teams, and of course, every other nation takes 1-1. The beauty is that the Asian continent is represented, Europe is represented, the America is represented, but of course, Africa cannot be represented.
South America, not the America.
Okay, sorry. Well,
There
I
are two
put them
Americas.
together.
We're not
I
South
put them
America,
together,
they're
not
Americas.
South. I intentionally
Yes.
put them together.
Yes.
But Africa is not represented. Guys, let's go to the quarterfinal matches. Pairing. Chelsea take on Palmeiras. Looking like a banana peel for the Blues.
Potential.
But according to Opta, now Opta has put Chelsea as the favorite to go on to win the
I'm surprised,
FIFA
man.
Club World Cup.
Going-
And that's where I am surprised.
We're going on to win. I mean,
Yeah,
so
to
the
win.
same Opta gave Arsenal the high chances to win the
Champions
Champions. I say the Champions,
Champions League.
the Champions League. What happened?
They
Just a
didn't win.
projection.
Yeah, it's just
a
a projection.
Yeah.
No
Now,
doubt
but
about
I
it.
wouldn't want to talk about because if you ask me who's going to win, I'll tell you no any day, any time, any minute, any hour. PSG are the most favorite.
Yeah.
They look so dominant. They command this game. They play the way it's supposed to be played. They make it look so easy in our eyes.
You know,
easy.
Now the next game, Chelsea, Palmeiras. If you ask me,
Potential banana
I had for me, it's not a banana peel. If Chelsea did not win that game, there's going to be a surprise to me because I expect Chelsea to win that game. I've actually watched this guy play. I have watched them. I've seen all the games I actually played. I have my ideas and I've seen the Chelsea games too and everything. I mean,
Have been inconclusive.
if there
Like
is
our
one person
elections.
who does not believe in Maresca, everybody knows I'm that
one of
person.
them, yeah.
If there's one person who does not believe in current Chelsea
Players, yeah.
project generally, everybody knows I am that person because, like I keep saying, you cannot use a developing team to win titles,
There's no way.
right? But when it comes
No,
to
no.
this game, particularly the next game that Chelsea is going to be playing, for me, Chelsea is the favorite. Would they win it? Is yet to be seen. But if you ask me, if I were the betting type, unfortunately I'm not. If I were the betting type,
you put money on Chelsea.
I'll put my money on Chelsea any day, anytime. I'll even double it. Like you said, if it were Sunday, I'll put it 3 times. Like that. so I see no reason why anybody has doubt that Chelsea is not going to win. I mean, that Chelsea will not win that next game. Everything favors them. This Brazilian does not play. This particular Brazilian
Does not
team,
play fluent football.
They're
very pragmatic,
They
yeah.
do not play fluent football,
They're pragmatic. They wait for chances.
and they don't
Sniff at
create
chances.
so many
Yeah,
chances.
exactly, pragmatic. Can't
Like
work
we
on the
say,
counter.
I mean, with all the hype and everything about the Al Hilal thing that we spoke about, if the goalkeeper wasn't what he is
They would
supposed,
have been knocked out.
nobody was sense. So against Chelsea, with what I've seen from Chelsea, and believe me, I'm so convinced, 100% convinced that Chelsea is getting to the semi-final. Will they get to the final? That I don't know. But will they get to the semi-final? Go and write it down anywhere. Chelsea is getting to the semi-final.
And I'm going to write my own book and tell you Chelsea wouldn't. I've not been convinced, man. See, I've watched Chelsea. Not disrespect to Chelsea. I'm one of those who want to make up. My dad is a Chelsea fan, and he would drag me up by 2 a.m. to ensure I watch the game. It's why he wouldn't sleep in his company. But the truth remains, guys, I think this Chelsea team is not. Apart from the last game, which I think they upped the ante. I don't know what happened. Maybe they woke up on the right side of the bed.
No, maybe the 2 hours break.
No, before 2 hours break, they were winning.
They were winning one
And
day.
they were a better team.
At the better team before that break, yeah.
Yeah.
So they upped the ante, and I was quite surprised. But because of the way the Palmeiras team they set up, they sit deep, they have a high block, and they try to hit Chelsea on the counter attack. Chelsea, I've noticed Chelsea have used less in possession. They keep passing the ball in different diagonally, different angles, and there's no bite. Kopama is a shadow of himself.
One hit wonder.
A shadow of himself. So
One hit wonder.
looking at the way, if it was a team that was going to express themselves as okay, let's attack a lot, I would have banked on Chelsea's quality to break them.
Just
down.
like we were talking about this, the
For you,
Palmeiras.
Chelsea not going through.
Not going through.
Well, before we go to other games, let's talk about something. Chelsea have signed Joao Pedro.
Yeah.
Beautiful signing,
From
60 million
Brighton.
pounds.
About 55 plus 5 million in add-ons
add-on,
in future. Again, just again.
This is that future.
Somehow, the Blues continue
To sign
to
players.
sign players. I saw a post on social media where the Chelsea owner was credited to say, for every player that leaves, he will continue to sign more players and nothing will happen. And in the sense that, for example, now we understand Sunderland is putting a 25 or 30 million bid for Chelsea goalkeeper Petrovic.
Yeah.
Now, Chelsea have 7 goalkeepers.
First
on
team
their-
goalkeepers.
First team, not backup goalkeepers. First team goalkeepers.
Yeah.
And they even went as far as almost adding
Magnon to
just
the-
before the Club World Cup. And then again, João Pedro makes it the 9th attacker.
Yes.
Chelsea have got.
And
on their
according to Todd Bowley, he said he wants to go into the Premier League with five strikers.
What exactly
Case of
is?
interest.
What exactly is?
Five striker agreed, but
What quality?
What quality?
That's the question.
Because,
What
like I
quality?
said,
But-
quantity over quality.
No. For Yao
That is
has
quality.
quality.
For a player that has not scored more than 12 goals in a single
preseason.
season.
How many seasons in the Premier League?
This is
just 2
This is
seasons.
No, the 2 seasons.
Just 2 seasons, right? Just 2
Yeah,
seasons.
2 seasons in the
I'm
Premier
playing
League.
for
Only not
which side?
Brentford.
No.
Brightford.
Brighton.
Brighton.
Brighton, I said
If you
Brentford.
sign a Delab for scoring 12 goals, come on, who's going to signing?
So that's what I'm going to. So I'm going somewhere. If you are signing the lap for 12
35.
goals, Joao Pedro
12 goals.
12 goals. So let's put it about that
Yeah.
in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
You've gotten a player that has given you 10 and 12 goals respectively.
Nicolas
Talking about
Jackson.
Nicolas Jackson.
He's always there.
You have an Nkunku who, well, I don't
He's
know
going,
if
certainly,
he's
he's
certainly going.
Yeah.
But let's look at these 3 players. Why not squash this finance and put it on the proven striker?
Now, the biggest question is this, just like the way I said, probably say we're going for a players like.
Project structure.
No, now that's where
Just say
another
you
thing comes
yeah,
in.
exactly.
See, do you know the funny thing? At times, right, it's just like what I used to talk about. The Brighton teams, you understand, the players in Brighton teams, the Wolverhampton teams, the players in the Wolverhampton team. When I see big teams going for players that are average, then leaving players that are far above average, who have who have Premier League experience, and I ask so many questions. I could remember before the signing of Aït-Nouri, I know how I was shouting about Aït-Nouri. Aside from him, so many other players.
But they should have left because
I've actually left this. Now nobody's going to talk about
go.
it. So now you're going for this. You just make mention of something. You know, I saw a tweet somewhere and I replied the tweet immediately. Somebody's talking about Benjamin Sesko. I said, wallahi,
Okay,
for me,
disaster.
I will go for Cyril Gurasi than Benjamin Sesko.
Yes, I agree with you.
And Cyril Gurasi is not going to cost more than 40 million pounds.
If you,
So, but you ask yourself, so it's Chelsea seeing a Cyril Gurasi who has been consistent for two different clubs.
countries.
Yeah, 2 different clubs.
Two different
Stuttgart-
clubs in the same country.
Stuttgart
Yes, once.
Borussia
No,
Dortmund
twice.
once.
You understand?
No,
And
that was his first
right
season
now,
last season.
even in the Club World Cup, he's among the top scorer.
He's the
He's
one.
on 3
So
goals.
it's 3 goals, like practically everybody.
Only
The only
Di
person
Maria
that has
is
4
ahead of
goals, and
Di Maria.
Di Maria.
Yeah,
Di Maria.
So there's a possibility that he might score even more than 3 goals because he's
Yes.
still in the competition.
He has
So
a
you
very
see a player
fantastic
like this,
game.
same thing with your probably sorry to digress a little to Arsenal. You see a player like this and you're going for Benjamin Sesko.
Disaster.
Believe me, any day,
Disaster.
anytime. I know the other issue, probably the issue of age with
Age.
Africans.
Yes.
Yeah, because we've seen that with Partey, we've seen that with a
Play
lot of
3 or
African
4
players.
days and
Maybe
they're
that's what
injured.
I think that's the biggest issue here. But the other part, if anybody's not looking at Cyril Gurasi
At
right
this
now.
time, no.
If Chelsea is going for Gittins in that same team where you have Cyril Gurasi, you ask yourself a question. And this guy serious at
He's getting even a striker.
They want a
When I
winger
play
to replace Donny Madueke.
He's getting an upgrade on Noni Madueke.
That's how it's no.
So what is the problem?
Well, let's move on from Chelsea. Let's go to the other Club World Cup game that will see Brazilian side Fluminense play Al Hilal. This is one of the most balanced.
Fluminense?
Sorry,
Flamingo?
No.
That's
Fluminense. Don't confuse me.
Yeah.
They'll take on Al Hilal in the Club World Cup. Now, this is one of the most balanced quarterfinal fixture.
Yeah.
That
Very
we are
balanced,
seeing.
very balanced.
But I do
no.
think-
Let's be realistic.
I do think
Aside from the PSG, PSG who?
Bayern?
PSG Bayern, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that is balanced as well.
That is balanced, yeah, it's balanced. Bayern is balanced.
Borussia Dortmund, Real
Real
Madrid.
Madrid,
It's
yes.
balanced to going by the
Balanced.
current form of
This one too is
Real
balanced.
Madrid.
So this is balanced
Almost all the
because
games are
there's no
balanced.
favourite.
Yes, there's no favourite.
Almost all the tide in the last 8. I mean,
This year,
it's
even
balanced.
with PSG, I see them
But-
say
but
they
for
are
me,
like 2 steps ahead of
Before I go to
that.
PSG, I think Al Hilal are favourite.
Well, funny enough, I
Against Fluminense.
Yeah,
I give
think they
Fluminense.
are.
Well, that's why I
think
wouldn't.
the X factor for Al Hilal is Simone Inzaghi.
And his knowledge of European
I
football.
think the X factor is Simone Inzaghi because you look at the Al Hilal team, they're here to test defeat.
Yes, this is.
And it's the fact that these guys, for what it is, they've played Real Madrid, played out a draw, against, let's assume it was Xabi Alonso's first game, was just understanding the Madrid side and all of that. But they played at a draw, took out Manchester City in the FIFA Club World Cup. Yeah. It means that somehow the team
something is doing right.
Exactly, and it's playing to the strength of the players because a manager who is coming in his first time with the team, he was appointed barely 4 days to start of the Club World Cup.
And look at what they're doing.
And look at what he's doing.
And he's impactful.
Yeah, I think
I understand what they're trying to say, right?
An advantage, even though Fluminense do have sincerely, if you have experience with Thiago Silva's experience and leadership.
Anyway, I think a team that took out Inter, without conceding.
But I have a fantastic to watch out for the 4-year-old and a 40-year-old
Forget about the age of the players, right? Yeah, I mean, goalkeeper is good.
44.
And among the Brazilian team, aside, funny enough for me, Palmeiras among the Brazilian team that we are in this competition. Palmeiras for me, by everything I've seen, for me, at the worst.
Yeah.
Flamengo for me is first.
Was the
Botafogo second. Fluminense. So. I mean, it might be working for him, but he's coming.
And that's why they fired the coach of Botafogo after he lost that game.
Well, against the fellow Brazilian team, when the Botafogo come on now, let's be realistic. But you know how it is now in football. Somebody must actually take
the blame.
The stick must be on someone's head.
You're the champion from your South America, Brazil, and you can't lose to Fluminense.
It might have been working for what's his name, Inzaghi, right? But coming up against a compact Brazilian side and a Brazilian side that play football for fun, that equally enjoy playing football.
Yeah.
Like you said, just like you've not lose a game in this championship, they yet to lose a game too in this tournament. And player for player, almost at par.
Yeah, almost.
I mean, why are we shouting that they defeated Man City? Because we know head and shoulder Man City is a better team.
Exactly.
So not that they are head and shoulder better than this team. If it works for them, if it has been working for him against other teams, I doubt it's going to work for him against this.
I think
team. For everything I've actually seen.
One person sharing Hilal up with Ronaldo because a lot of people have a think of the league is not good enough. But at least this team has got to the quarterfinals of the Club World Cup.
So
it can't be that bad.
For me, sincerely speaking, I don't see Inzaghi. If Inzaghi survive this, then I will support him to win this competition.
Well, let's go to the other half of the quarterfinal draw where it's an all-European affair.
Yeah.
And of course, the 4 European teams remaining have tried to camp themselves together where Bayern Munich will take on Paris Saint-Germain, of course, European champions up against the German champions. And then Real Madrid will take on Borussia Dortmund. Unfortunately, we will not get to see the first Bellingham derby because Joe Bellingham is suspended after picking up a yellow card that will see him now miss the quarterfinal clash against Real Madrid. But first, Bayern against Paris Saint-Germain.
One-way traffic.
Luis Enrique up against Vice and Company.
One-way traffic. I know on paper it looks like it's balanced and Bayern Munich should have a good, but I watched how they struggled to get that 4-2 victory in the quarterfinal. Yeah. They looked in like I said, not
disjointed. Extremely disjointed.
They play in parts. The first 10 minutes was fantastic, and the next 10 minutes was awful.
No cohesion, nothing.
And then there's no cohesion, there is no panache, there is no I'm trying to use the right word.
They've lost their identity of playing fluent football.
This German all-out attack, all-out defense.
Lorisane has left.
They're not fluid. Sano has left for
he will not be part of this.
Yeah, he left after the last
game. After the last game, he left for Turkey.
I think Eric Dier is also.
Eric Dier has left as well for Monaco as well. So, but come on, man, it's about the fluidity. You know, when you watch PSG play, you know, there's this swagger about them. There's this love. For people who don't watch football, would want to play football.
Remember,
would want to be part of football. I think Eric should be
the same PSG you're talking about.
We're beating about the football. I don't want to go back there. But Bayern Munich is sincere. They've not.
Bayern Munich is to lose a game.
Exactly. They've yet to do the as well. But they've not. I'm talking about the gameplay. They've not been convincing. They've been effective. They've been efficient. But they've not been convincing.
I'm not going to contradict what you just said, right? I totally agree with you. Fact. It's just that probably the goal is not as much as you're trying to make it look like.
It's not as bad, but PSG is fine.
But the other side, I think different here is one side is cohesion, while one side is
all over the place.
It's not, there's no cohesion in one side. That's just it. But if you're talking about talent-wise, you understand, talent-wise, almost at par. Almost at par.
So, what are we going for?
The different, I'm
going to PSG.
It's going to be a tutorial, a coaching tutorial from Enrique to company. Company will be learning. I hope he gets his notes on paper because he's going to learn a lot after that game.
Well, the last game will be Real Madrid. Xabi Alonso still going. There's a certain new man leading the charge of Real Madrid. It is not Kylian Mbappe, surprisingly at the World Cup. It is Gonzalo Garcia. You know,
he's the next Raul Gonzalez.
Now, I think, one thing I love about Real Madrid is the fact that somehow, they find a way.
It
just comes. And I saw a picture of Gonzalo Garcia and Xabi Alonso, while Alonso was playing at Real Madrid. He was still a teenage boy. And it just tells you one thing. Sometimes when ex-players come back to clubs, they know these youngsters who showed brilliance while they were in the academy.
Yes.
And is able to trust it because Real Madrid were going to the Club World Cup with a certain injury to Kylian Mbappe. And the question was, who leads the line? But after 4 games in the Club World Cup, Madrid don't miss Kylian. And he's not playing at all.
Yeah, they don't.
The guy is a striker and they have. He gives you that Raúl Gonzalez feeling. The boy can hit the ball, he can head the ball. He's very... And the good thing about him is that he's an out-and-out striker. It's a natural position for him.
Yeah.
But Mbappe is trying to fit in. The boy it's what he loves to do. If you watch the last game,
against
the way
Juventus,
first of all,
the positioning, the nodding of the ball
first, the way he ran to the ball, the contact he had with the ball, and no player could have headed the ball up. And then the finishing was exquisite. So, like I said, the boy he's a natural finisher. He needs a little brushing here and there, but it takes a manager with guts. You know, we talk about how Alonso promoted a lot of players in Bayer Leverkusen. He has that niche of getting young players to become big names, the Florian Wirtz and the rest of them. This guy, he gave me his first ever Real Madrid start at the Club World Cup in his first game. And even with fitness of Mbappe being, he's okay already, he sat him on the bench and started him. The trust on that. I think the boy will be playing for the manager. The trust on that boy is massive. I don't know what Uncanny thinks, but I think the trust is there.
The thing is this, right? Amazing team, right? Trying to, find their rhythm and everything. But looking at that team, I have my reservation about that team. I think this is going to be one of their realest takes right now. Because against the UV side that we know is whacked. UV side that we know that is whacked right now. They're struggling right now. You still score and go. And you were not... If Colomani was even clean, probably we're not talking about you guys in this thing. So coming up against a big decent side like Dortmund, come on, have my reservation.
Who have the fantastic Gracia and Karim Adeyemi.
And a good coach as well.
They have, what are you talking about? They're practically everybody. Yes, Gracie, Karim, then everything, Sul and the rest of them.
Yeah.
I think I would want to play. I think this is not playing the devil advocate here. I'm talking about reality here. I think it's Madrid minus 5 this game. I'm seeing a semi-final of PSG Dortmund. I mean, for obvious reason. The Dortmund side I've actually watched in this competition has been a better side.
I agree with you, yes.
Sincerely, I guess this African side, is it wider?
Yeah, it was wider.
Did they play wider? Is it wider?
No!
Mamelodi Sundowns.
That they played 4-2.
Now, what I saw in that game was like, come on, this is a better side.
Dortmund, yeah.
Yeah. Even though, forget about what's his name, their goalkeeper, Ronnie
Williams and his
Ronnie Williams, yeah, that mistake, that schoolboy error that he actually committed, that actually led to the first goal.
Yeah.
That the side, I thought this side is going to struggle against it. I saw the game they played, they were dominant, they were better side, they created more chances and they scored more goals.
Sundowns were fluent. And Dortmund matched them.
We're fluent too.
Exactly.
So that tells you, and now this is going to be the Madrid's biggest taste. We know what happened during Champions League. We know how they struggle. We know how they look like schoolboy against Arsenal. Now they're coming against a team that is a bit decent, that is more decent than
and a team that has good record against them also.
Exactly.
So I don't see this match going in their favor. Not because they have good record against them, but they have a better team right now. A better team. I'm not talking about player for player. No, I'm talking about team. They have a better team right now.
I quite agree with him. I think I'll fancy Dortmund to go through because of the fact, like, from what I've seen in this tournament, they're far better. There's more cohesion. There's more. The finishing is better. I think my definition, apart from Gonzalo, has been all over the place. Come on, Vinicius Junior can be terrible at times. I'll forgive him. But at the end of the day, I think I'll go with Dortmund. But you can't rule out Madrid. They've got this tournament factor. They just come.
I wouldn't have actually ruled them
smash
out.
and grab.
See,
smash and grab. I
wouldn't have actually. Now they come up against a team that is scoring too. It's scoring.
Yes.
They've scored more than 10
goals already.
Madrid are not scoring. Because against
and there's a guy who's they're meeting a Gracie who's in superb form. Scoring goals, 3 goals absolutely. And his work rate is astronomical.
And now we're back to my earlier postulation or my earlier stance when I talk about
why is nobody
when I talk about if we an Africa, see, this guy is all for contention. He's even number 3 right now. Yes. Because just like what we see this guy doing, what's his name, Hakimi doing, Cyril Gracie is doing that too.
So you think?
So I think Salah is out of the conversation between Gracie and Hakimi. I'm telling you, funny enough, it's going to be nice to see him lifting this championship. Well, let me see
How
the
they will
reaction
escape
the
him.
two of you guys, because you guys basically used trophy to knock him out. You used trophy Laura to knock him out. No,
Hopefully
Laura is
if
not
he
going to
wins
be.
it- Hopefully, if he wins it, we'll consider it.
consider it.
Hopefully, if he wins it, we'll consider it. But of course, Asile Guirassy, fantastic striker, a great season with Borussia Dortmund, doing so well for himself at the Club World Cup. Well, the FIFA Club World Cup, it's now in the quarterfinal stage with 8 teams left. In the competition, it was diverse opinion for whether Chelsea or Palmeiras. Uncanny Sam has gone for Chelsea, and of course, for
Chelsea Palmeiras the semi-final.
Chelsea Palmeiras, of course, in the quarterfinal. Uncanny Sam has gone for Chelsea. No, so things it is Palmeiras for the game between Al Hilal and of course Fluminense. I think both have said it's both balanced, but slightly edging it is the Brazilians. For also it's Al Hilal, but for Uncanny Sam, he thinks the Brazilians will hedge it. But if Simeone Inzaghi wins this one, he thinks it will push him to go on to win the Club World Cup entirely. In the other half, it's a straight fight for them. There's no chance for Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, I beg your pardon. We both think Paris Saint-Germain are well poised to go through to the semi-finals. While in the other end, it is Uncanny Sam who thinks Borussia Dortmund do have the edge with a better team. If we don't also think Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid side could spring a surprise because they do a smash and grab in his right word when it comes to tournaments. Well, we are now going to see where the big boys will be separated from the boys. And then 4 of the best 8 teams will now advance to the semi-final of the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, according to Super Predictor Opta, the Blues, surprisingly against all odds, have been giving.
So that even Arsenal was losing against PSG.
Yes.
They still give them a higher rank.
Yes.
Chelsea rather have been
That's
giving,
little sentiment.
you know,
The English team.
And
Opta is an
I think
English person.
why, this is my own take on why, is because in the side where Chelsea are,
The draw is
fair.
It's safer.
It's safer to say because it is Chelsea,
Yes.
they can beat Palmeiras.
There's
They
no
can
European side in their
yeah,
side.
there's no
Yes.
European side. But in the other side,
You have
There's
European
tug of
side.
war.
all are European
European
side,
sides,
and
yes.
anybody
Can win it.
win against each other.
That's one angle. The other angle is Opta is English. So he's doing the English in a favor.
Yeah, probably doing the English in favor. But wait to see. I know Chelsea fans out there will be excited to see the Blues. Like somebody say, Chelsea, they always they lucky. They could just put them for some kind. And let's look at it, guys, before we go. I think the Blues lost and finished second, and they are gaining.
Again, it looks like a big game.
Because if
And
they
the
had
good
finished
side of them,
first,
they would have been
they would have
Madrid
been- they would have
side.
played Bayern.
Bayern, first of all.
They would have been the one to play Bayern
and
Munich.
then-
I would have probably gone home.
So funny enough, they know when to lose.
So they are good losers. Absolutely.
Well, let's put it, they are good losers. They know when to lose.
Exactly.
The fact that they are earning more money for themselves and do well in the Club World Cup. Well, Football Temple brought to you by Azar Studios.